Jerusalem shall live in peace. Shalom, 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 Yerushalayim. Shalom, shalom, Yerushalayim. Shalom, shalom, Yerushalayim.
It's not easy.
So again, we are in Torah portion Tetzaveh, starting at chapter 27, verse 20 of the book of Shemot or Exodus. Before we begin our reading, if you join for the blessing. Oops, go back. All right. So before we begin the reading for the blessing, beginning of open my eyes. Open my eyes, so I will see wonders in your Torah. I'm a ger on the earth. Hide not your mitzvot from me. The blessing. Bless Adonai, who's be praised. Blessed be Adonai, who is praised for all eternity. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher b'kar banu makol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torah. Blessed are you, Adonai, our Elohim, King of the universe, who has chosen us from all peoples, has given us his Torah. Baruch atah Adonai notein ha'Torah. Blessed are you, Adonai, giver of the Torah. All right, so this is our first verse in Hebrew. You can see that, from the number 20, if you go to the second word in, that is Tetzaveh. That is the title of this portion. Translates to "You shall command." Ve'atah. So if you'd like to read that with me, it begins Ve'atah Tetzaveh et bnei Israel v'chu eleka shmin zait zach katit lamaor lehaolot ner tamid. Tamid is the continual part. Ner, of course, you recognize as kind of the root word for menorah. So the English says, "Now you shall command the children of Israel that they shall take for you olive oil for illumination to continue." It is the first verse of our portion, so we'll continue with verse 21. Aharon and his sons are to put it in the tent of meeting, outside the curtain in front of the testimony, and keep it burning from evening till morning before Adonai. This is to be a permanent regulation through all generations of the people of Israel. You are to summon your brother Aharon and his sons to come from among the people of Israel to you, so they can serve me as Kohanim. Aharon and his sons Nadav, Abihu, Eleazar, and Ithamar. You are to make for your brother Aharon garments set apart for serving God, expressing dignity and splendor. Speak to all the craftsmen to whom I have given the spirit of wisdom, and have them make Aharon's garments to set them apart for me, so that he can serve me in the office of Cohen. The garments they are to make are these: a breastplate, a ritual vest, a robe, a checkered tunic, a turban, and a sash. They're to make holy garments for your brother Aharon and sons, so they can serve me in the office of Cohen. They are to use gold, blue, purple, and scarlet yarn, and fine linen. They are to make the ritual vests of gold, of blue, purple, and scarlet yarn, and of finely woven linen, crafted by a skilled craftsman. Attached to its front and back edges are to be 2 shoulder pieces that can be fastened together. Its decorated belt is to be of the same workmanship and materials: gold, blue, purple, and scarlet yarn, and finely woven linen. But take 2 onyx stones and engrave on them the names of the sons of Israel, 6 of them on one stone, and 6 remaining names on the other, in order of their birth. An engraver should engrave the names of the sons of Israel on the 2 stones as you would engrave a seal. Mount the stones in gold settings and put the 2 stones on the shoulder pieces of the vest, as stones calling to mind the sons of Israel. Aharon is to carry their names before Adonai on his 2 shoulders as a reminder.
You will also make golden rosettes and 2 chains of pure gold twisted like cord, and will attach the cord-like chains to the rosettes. You will make the breastplate of judgment of the same embroidered work as the ephod. You will make it of gold, violet purple, red purple, and crimson materials, and finely woven linen. It must be square and doubled over, a span in length and a span in width. In it you will set 4 rows of stones: a sard, a topaz, an emerald for the first row; for the second row, a garnet, sapphire, and diamond; for the third row, a hyacinth, a ruby, and an amethyst; and for the fourth row, a beryl, a cornelian, and a jasper. These must be mounted in gold settings. The stones will correspond to the names of the sons of Israel, 12 like their names, engraved like seals, each with the name of one of the 12 tribes. For the breastplate you will make chains of pure gold twisted like cord. And on the breastplate you will make 2 gold rings, putting the 2 rings on the 2 outside edges of the breastplate, and fastening the 2 gold cords to the 2 rings on the outside edges of the breastplate. The other 2 ends of the cord you will fasten to the 2 rosettes, putting these on the shoulder straps of the ephod on the front. You will also make 2 gold rings and put them on the 2 edges of the breastplate, on the inner side against the ephod. And you will make 2 gold rings and put them low down on the front of the 2 shoulder pieces of the ephod, close to the join, above the waistband of the ephod. The breastplate will be secured by a violet purple cord passed through its rings and those of the ephod, so that the breastplate will sit above the waistband and not come apart from the ephod. Thus Aaron will bear the names of the sons of Israel on the breastplate of judgment on his heart, when he enters the sanctuary, as a reminder before Yahweh always. To the breastplate of judgment you will add the Urim and the Thummim, and these will be on Aaron's heart when he goes into Yahweh's presence, and Aaron will bear the Israelites' judgment on his heart in Yahweh's presence always. You will make the robe of the ephod entirely of violet purple. In the center it will have an opening for the head. The opening to have round it a border woven like the neck of a coat of mail, so that it will not get torn. On its lower hem you will make pomegranates of violet purple, red purple, and crimson, and finely woven linen, all round it, with golden bells between them all round. The gold bell and the pomegranate alternately, all around the lower hem of the robe. Aaron must wear it when he officiates, and the tinkling will be heard when he goes into the sanctuary to Yahweh's presence, or leaves it, and so he will not incur death. You will make a flower of pure gold and on it you would engrave a seal. You will engrave consecrated to Yahweh. You will put it on the violet purple cord. It will go on the turban. The front of the turban is the place where it must go. This will go on Aaron's brow, and Aaron will thus take on himself the shortcomings in the holy things consecrated by the Israelites in all their holy offerings. It will be on his brow permanently to make them acceptable to Yahweh. The tunic you will weave of fine linen, and make a turban of fine linen, and an embroidered waistband. For the sons of Aaron you will make tunics and waistbands. You will also make them headdresses to give dignity and magnificence. You will dress your brother Aaron and his sons in these. You will then anoint them, invest them, and consecrate them to serve me in the priesthood. You will also make them linen breeches, reaching from waist to thigh, to cover their bare flesh. Aaron and his sons will wear these when they go into the tent of meeting and when they approach the altar to serve in the sanctuary, as a precaution against incurring mortal guilt. This is a perpetual decree for Aaron and for his descendants after him.
And this is the thing which you shall do to them to sanctify them to minister as priests to me. Take one bullock, the son of the herd, and 2 perfect rams, and unleavened bread, and unleavened cakes poured over with oil, and unleavened wafers anointed with oil. You shall make them of fine wheat flour, and you shall put them into one basket, and shall bring them near in the basket, and the bullock and the 2 rams. And you shall take Aaron and his sons to the door of the tabernacle of congregation, and you shall wash them in water. And you shall take the garments, and you shall clothe Aaron with the tunic and the robe of the ephod, and the breastplate, and you shall bind it to him with the band of the ephod. And you shall put the mitre on his head, and you shall put the holy crown on the mitre. You shall take the oil of anointing, and shall pour on his head, and shall anoint him. And you shall take his sons and clothe them with tunics, and you shall gird them with girdles, Aaron and his sons, and you shall bind on bonnets for them, and it shall be a never-ending statute for them in the priest's office. And you shall consecrate Aaron and his sons, and you shall bring near the bullock before the tabernacle of the congregation. And Aaron and his sons shall lay their hands on the head of the bullock, and you shall slaughter the bullock before the face of Jehovah at the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. And you shall take of the blood of the bullock, and shall put it on the horns of the altar with your finger. And you shall pour out all the blood at the base of the altar, and you shall take all the fat that covers the inward parts, and the lobe of the liver, and the 2 kidneys, and the fat of them, and you shall burn on the altar. And you shall burn the flesh of the bullock, and its skin, and its dung, with fire outside the camp. It is a sin offering. And you shall take 1 ram, and Aaron and his sons shall lay their hands on the head of the ram. And you shall slaughter the ram, and you shall take its blood, and shall sprinkle it on the altar all around. And you shall cut the ram into pieces, and you shall wash its inward parts and its legs, and shall place them on its pieces and on its head. And you shall burn all of the ram on the altar. It is a burnt offering to Jehovah, a soothing fragrance. It is a fire offering to Jehovah.
You shall take the other ram, and Aaron and his sons shall lay their hands upon the head of the ram, and you shall slaughter that ram. Take some of its blood, and put it on the lobe of Aaron's right ear, and on the lobes of the right ears of his sons, and on the thumbs of their right hands, and on the big toe of their right foot, and dash the rest of the blood against all the sides of the altar. Then you shall take some of the blood that is on the altar and some of the anointing oil. Sprinkle it on Aaron and his vestments and on his sons and their vestments with him. And then he and his vestments shall be holy, as well as his sons and his sons' vestments. You shall also take the fat of the ram and the fat tail, the fat that covers the entrails and the appendages of the liver, the 2 kidneys with the fat that is on them, and the right thigh, for it is a ram of ordination. 1 loaf of the bread and 1 cake of the bread made with oil, and 1 wafer out of the basket of unleavened bread that is before the Lord. And you shall place these on the palms of Aaron and on the palms of his sons. Raise them up as an elevation offering before the Lord. Then you shall take them from their hands and turn them into smoke on the top of the altar, a burnt offering, pleasing odor to the Lord. It is an offering by fire to the Lord. You shall take the breast of the ram and Aaron's ordination, and raise it as an elevation offering before the Lord. It shall be your portion. You shall consecrate the breast that was raised as an elevation offering, and the thigh that was raised as an elevation offering from the ram of ordination, from that which belonged to Aaron and his sons. These things shall be a perpetual ordinance for Aaron and his sons from all the Israelites. It is an offering. It shall be an offering by the Israelites from their sacrifice of offerings, as offerings of well-being, offerings to the Lord. The sacred vestment of Aaron shall be passed on to his sons after him, and they shall be anointed in them and ordained in them. The son who is priest in his place shall wear them for 7 days, and then he comes into the tent of meeting to minister in a holy place. You shall take the ram of ordination and boil its flesh in a holy place. And Aaron and his sons shall eat the flesh of the ram and the bread that is in the basket at the entrance of the tent of meeting. They themselves shall eat food by which the atonement was made to ordain and consecrate them. But no one else shall eat of them because of the Lord. If any of the flesh of the ordination or if any of the bread remains until morning, you shall burn it up, the remainder in fire. It will not be eaten because it is holy. And thus you shall do to Aaron and his sons, just as I commanded you. Through 7 days you will ordain them. Also every day you'll offer a bull as a sin offering for atonement, and you shall offer also a sin offering for the altar when you make the atonement for it and anoint it and consecrate it. 7 days you shall make atonement for the altar and consecrate it, and the altar shall be most holy. Whatever touches the altar shall become holy.
Now this is what you shall offer on the altar. 2 lambs a year old, day by day regularly. 1 lamb you shall offer in the morning, the other lamb you shall offer at twilight. With the first lamb, a 10th measure of fine flour mingled with 1/4 a hin of beaten oil, and 1/4 a hin of wine for a drink offering. The other lamb you shall offer at twilight, and shall offer it with a grain offering and its drink offering as in the morning, for a pleasing aroma, a food offering to the Lord. It shall be a regular burnt offering throughout your generations at the entrance of the tent of meeting before Yahweh, where we will meet with you to speak to you there. There I will meet with the people of Israel, and it shall be sanctified by my glory. I will consecrate the tent meeting and the altar. Aaron also and his sons I will consecrate to serve me as priests. I will dwell among the people of Israel. I will be their God. And they shall know that I am Yahweh, their God, who brought them out of the land of Egypt, that I might dwell among them. I am Yahweh, their God.
You are to make an altar on which to burn incense. Make it of acacia wood. It is to be 18 inches square and 3 feet high. Its horns are to be of 1 piece with it. Overlay it with pure gold, its top or at the sides, and its horns. Put around it a molding of gold. Make 2 gold rings for it under its molding at the 2 corners on both sides. This is where the carrying poles will go. Make the poles of acacia wood and overlay them with gold. Place it in front of the curtain by the ark for the testimony, in front of the ark cover that is over the testimony, where I will meet with you. Aharon will burn fragrant incense on it as a pleasing aroma every morning. He is to burn it when he prepares the lamps. Aharon is also to burn it when he lights the lamps at dusk. This is the regular burnt offering of incense before Adonai through all your generations. You are not to offer unauthorized incense on it, or a burnt offering, or a grain offering. And you're not to pour a drink offering on it. Aharon is to make atonement on its horns once a year. With the blood of the sin offering of atonement, he is to make atonement for it once a year through all your generations. It is especially holy to Adonai. Maftir. Aharon is also to burn it when he lights the lamps at dusk. This is a regular burning of incense before Adonai through all your generations. You are not to unauthorized incense on it, or a burnt offering, or a grain offering. And you are not to pour a drink offering on it. Aharon is to make atonement on its horns once a year. With the blood of the sin offering of atonement, he is to make atonement for it once a year through all your generations. It is especially holy to Adonai. Amen. So that ends the regular reading. The reading for Shabbat Zachor, the Shabbat of Remembrance, is from Devarim 25, verses 17 through 19. Or Deuteronomy 25, 17 through 19. Remember what Amalek did to you on the road as you were coming out of Egypt. How he met you by the road, attacked those in the rear, those who were exhausted and straggling behind, and you were tired and weary. You did not fear God. Therefore, when Adonai your God has given you rest from all your surrounding enemies in the land Adonai your God is giving you as your inheritance to possess, you are to blot out all memory of Amalek from under heaven. Don't forget. And if you join for the blessing after reading the Torah portion. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah temet v'chei olam nata b'toheinu. Blessed are you, Adonai, our Elohim, King of the universe, who has given us the Torah of truth as planet everlasting life in our midst. Baruch atah Adonai notein haTorah. Blessed are you, Adonai, giver of the Torah. Amen. So the reading for Shabbat Zachor, for the Haftorah, is from 1 Samuel 15, 1 through 34. We'll also be reading from Bel and the Dragon, Daniel 14. I have the words for that on slides for the Daniel reading. So 1 Samuel is our Haftorah, 1 Samuel 15, beginning at verse 1. Return for the blessing before the reading. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bakar b'nevi'im tovim v'ratza devachem hagamarim b'amet. Blessed are you, Adonai our Elohim, King of the universe, who has chosen good prophets and is pleased with their words that they spoke in the truth. Baruch atah Adonai habakir b'Torah of Moshe Abdo V'Israel Amo Nevi'eh Ha'emet V'Tzedek. Blessed are you, Adonai, who chose Torah and Moshe from Israel, his people, and prophets of the truth and righteousness. Right. 1 Samuel chapter 15, beginning at verse 1. Shmuel said to Shaul, Adonai sent me to anoint you king over his people, over Israel. Listen to what Adonai has to say. Here's what Adonai Tetzaveh says. Remember what Amalek did to Israel, how they fought against Israel when they were coming up from Egypt. Now go and attack Amalek and completely destroy everything they own. Don't spare them, but kill women, men, women, children, and babies and cows, and sheep, camels, and donkeys. Shaul summoned the people and reviewed them in Telaim. 200,000 foot soldiers, another 10,000 men from Yehuda. Shaul arrived at the city of Amalek and lay in wait in the valley. Shaul said to the Keni, "Go away, withdraw, leave your homes there with the Amaleki. Otherwise, I will destroy you along with them, even though you were kind to all people of Israel when they came out of Egypt." So the Keni went away from among the Amaleki. Then Shaul attacked Amalek, starting at Havilah and continuing towards Shur at the border of Egypt. He took Agag, the king of Amalek, alive, but he completely destroyed the people, putting them to the sword. However, Shaul and the people spared Agag, along with the best of the sheep and cattle, even the second best, also the lambs, and everything that was good. They weren't inclined to destroy these things, but everything that was worthless or weak they completely destroyed. And the word of Adonai came to Shmuel, "I regret setting up Shaul as king, because he has turned back from following me and hasn't obeyed my orders." This made Shmuel very sad, so that he cried to Adonai all night. Shmuel got up early in the morning to meet Shaul. However, Shmuel was told Shaul came from Carmel to set up a monument for himself there. Excuse me. Now he has left and is on his way down to Gilgal. Shmuel went to Shaul. Shaul said to him, "May Adonai bless you. I have done what Adonai ordered." But Shmuel answered, "If so, why do I hear sheep bleating and cows mooing?" Shaul said, "They brought them up from the Amaleki, because the people spared the best of the sheep and cattle to sacrifice to Adonai, your God. We completely destroyed the rest." Then Shmuel said to Shaul, "Stop, I'm going to tell you what I said to me last night." He said, "Speak." Shmuel then said, "You may be small in your own sight, but you are head of the tribes of Israel. Adonai anointed you king over Israel. Now Adonai sent you on a mission and told you, go and completely destroy Amalek, those sinners. Keep making war on them until they have been exterminated. Why did you seize the spoil instead of paying attention to what Adonai said? From Adonai's viewpoint, you have done an evil thing." Shaul said to Shmuel, "I did too pay attention to what Adonai said and carried out the mission which Adonai sent me. I brought back Agag, the king of Amalek, and I completely destroyed Amalek. But the people took some of the spoil, the best of the sheep and the cattle, set aside for destruction, to sacrifice to Adonai your God in Gilgal." Shmuel said, "Does Adonai take as much pleasure in burnt offerings and sacrifices as in obeying what Adonai says? Surely obeying is better than sacrifice, and heeding orders than the fat of rams. For rebellion is like the sin of sorcery, stubbornness like the crime of idolatry. Because you have rejected the word of Adonai, he too has rejected you as king." Shaul said to Shmuel, "I have sinned. I violated the order of Adonai and your words too, because I was afraid of the people and listened to what they said. Now, please pardon my sin and come back with me so I can worship Adonai." But Shmuel said to Shaul, "I will not go back with you because you have rejected the word of Adonai, and Adonai has rejected you as king over Israel." As Shmuel was turning around to leave, he took hold of the hem of his cloak and it tore. Shmuel said to him, "Adonai has torn the kingdom of Israel from you today and given it to a fellow countryman of yours who is better than you. Moreover, the Eternal One of Israel will not lie or change his mind, because he isn't a mere human being, subject to changing his mind." Then Shaul said, "I have sinned, but in spite of that, please show me respect now before the leaders of my people, before Israel, by coming back with me so I can worship Adonai your God." So Shmuel followed Shaul back, and Shaul worshipped Adonai. Then Shmuel said, "Bring Agag, the king of Amalek, here to me." Agag came to him in chains and said, "Without doubt, mine will be a bitter death." Shmuel said, "Just as your sword has left women childless, so will your mother be left childless among women." Then Shmuel cut Agag in pieces before Adonai in Gilgal. Shmuel returned to Ramah, and Shaul went up to his house in Givat Shaul. Thus ends the Samuel reading. This is Bel and the Dragon. This is from the Open Eastern Orthodox Commentary version, translation. Yours might read differently. King Astyages was gathered to his fathers, and Cyrus the Persian received his kingdom. Daniel lived with the king and was honored above all his friends. Now the Babylonians had an idol called Bel, and every day 12 great measures of fine flour, 40 sheep, and 6 firkins of wine were spent on it. I think a firkin is like 11 gallons. The king honored it and went daily to worship it, but Daniel worshipped his own God. The king said to him, "Why don't you worship Bel?" He said, "Because I may not honor idols made with hands, but only the living God, who has created the sky and the earth and has sovereignty over all flesh." The king said to him, "Don't you think that Bel is the living God? Don't you see how much he eats and drinks every day?" Then Daniel laughed and said, "O king, don't be deceived, for this is just clay inside and brass outside," and never ate or drank anything. So the king was angry and called for his priests and said to them, "If you don't tell me who is this who devours these expenses, you shall die. But if you can show me that Bel devours them, then Daniel shall die, for he has spoken blasphemy against Bel." Daniel said to the king, "Let it be according to your word." Now there were 70 priests of Bel, besides their wives and children. The king went with Daniel into Bel's temple. So Bel's priest said, "Behold, we will leave, but you, O king, set out the food and mix the wine and set it out. Shut the door securely and seal it with your own signet. When you come in the morning, if you don't find that Bel has eaten everything, we will suffer death, or else Daniel, who speaks falsely against us." They weren't concerned, for under the table they had made a secret entrance by which they entered in continually and consumed those things. It happened, when they had gone out, the king set the food before Bel. But Daniel had commanded his servants to bring ashes, and they scattered them all over the temple in the presence of the king alone. Then they went out, shut the door, sealed it with the signet, and so departed. Now in the night, the priests came with their wives and children, as they usually did, and ate and drank it all. In the morning, the king arose, and Daniel with him. The king said, "Daniel, are the seals whole?" He said, "Yes, O king, they are whole." And as soon as he had opened the door, the king looked at the table and cried with a loud voice, "You are great, O Bel, and with you is no deceit at all." And Daniel laughed and held the king that he should not go in. He said, "Behold now the pavement, and mark well whose footsteps these are." The king said, "I see the footsteps of men, women, and children." Then the king was angry, and took the priests and their wives and children, and showed them the secret doors, where they came in and consumed the things that were on the table. Therefore the king killed them, and delivered Bel into Daniel's power, who overthrew it and its temple. In that same place there was a great dragon, which the people of Babylon worshipped. The king said to Daniel, "Will you also say this is of brass? Behold, he lives, eats and drinks. You can't say that he is no living God, therefore worship him." Then Daniel said, "I will worship the Lord my God, for he is a living God. But allow me, O king, and I will kill this dragon without sword or staff." The king said, I allow you. Then Daniel took pitch, fat, and hair, and melted them together, and made lumps of them. He put these in the dragon's mouth, so the dragon ate and burst apart. Daniel said, "Behold, these are the gods you all worship." When the people of Babylon heard that, they took great indignation and conspired against the king, saying, "The king has become a Jew. He has pulled down Bel, slain the dragon, and the priest to the sword." So they came to the king and said, "Deliver Daniel to us, or else we will destroy you and your house." Now the king saw that they trapped him, being constrained. The king delivered Daniel to them. They cast him into the lion's den, where he was 6 days. There were 7 lions in the den, and they had been giving them 2 carcasses and 2 sheep every day, which they were not given to them, intending that he would devour Daniel. Now there was in Jewry the prophet Habakkuk, who made stew and broken bread into a bowl. He was going into the field to bring it to the reapers. But the angel of the Lord said to Habakkuk, "Go carry the dinner that you have into Babylon to Daniel in the lion's den." Habakkuk said, "Lord, I never saw Babylon. I don't know where the den is." Then the angel of the Lord took him by the crown and lifted him up by the hair of his head, and with the blast of his breath set him in Babylon over the den. Habakkuk cried, saying, "O Daniel, Daniel, take the dinner which God has sent you." Daniel said, "You have remembered me, O God. You haven't forsaken those who love you." So Daniel arose and ate, and the angel of God set Habakkuk in his own place again immediately. On the seventh day, the king came to mourn for Daniel. When he came to the den, he looked in, and behold, Daniel was sitting. Then the king cried with a loud voice, saying, "Great are you, O Lord, you God of Daniel, and there is none other beside you." So drew him out and cast those who were the cause of his destruction into the den, and they were devoured in a moment before his face. The end. All right, our gospel reading is from the Gospel of Mark, chapter 6. Verses 14 through 29. Linda, would you like to read?
Sure.
So, after the blessing, let you read it then. John, for the blessing, begin with Baruch atah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu et dorek hayeshua b'mashiach Yeshua v'et sifrei ketuvim netzli makal. Amen. Blessed are you, Adonai, our Elohim, King of the universe, who has given us the way of salvation, Messiah Yeshua, and books and Nazarene writings to all the peoples. Baruch atah Adonai noten Yeshua b'Yeshua HaMashiach. Blessed are you, Adonai, giver of salvation, and Yeshua the Messiah. Amen.
Meanwhile, King Herod heard about this, for Yeshua's reputation had spread. Some were saying Yochanan the Immerser has been raised from the dead, and that is why there are these miraculous powers that are in work in him. Others said, it is Elijah, and others still said, he is a prophet, like one of the old prophets. But when Herod heard it, he said, Yochanan, whom have I beheaded, has been raised. For Herod had sent and had Yochanan arrested and chained in prison because of Herodias, the wife of his brother Philip. Herod had married her, but Yochanan had told him, it violates the Torah for you to marry your brother's wife. So Herodias had a grudge against him and wanted him to be put to death. But she could not accomplish this, because Herod had stood in awe of Yochanan and had protected him, for he knew that he was a Zachor, a holy man. Whenever he heard him, he became deeply disturbed, and yet he liked to listen to him. Finally, the opportunity came, and Herod gave a banquet on his birthday for his nobles and officers and the leading men of Galilee. The daughter of Herodias came in and danced, and she pleased Herod and his guests. The king said to the girl, ask me for whatever you want. I will give it to you. And he made a vow to her, whatever you ask, I will give to you, up to half my kingdom. So she went out and said to her mother, what should I ask for? She said, the head of Yochanan, the Immerser. At once the daughter hurried back to the king and announced her request. I want you to give me right now on a platter the head of Yochanan the Immerser. Herod was appalled, but out of regard for the oath that he had sworn before his dinner guests, he did not want to break his word to her. So the king immediately sent a soldier from his personal guard with orders to bring Yochanan's head. The soldier went and beheaded Yochanan in prison and brought his head on a platter and gave it to the girl. The girl gave it to her mother, and when Yochanan's Talmim heard of it, they came and took the body and laid it in a grave. At the end, yeah.
So now's the time we've been waiting for, of course, which is the fun challenge. Question number 1. What is the title of this week's Torah portion, and how would you translate it into English? Tetzaveh? Mhm. And how do you translate it into English? Command, yes. Good job. Question number 2. Which kind of oil is used in the tabernacle and temple menorah?
Olive oil. It was beaten.
Olive oil, that's correct. Question number 3. Fill in the blanks. Upon its hem, you shall make blank of blue, purple, and scarlet all around its hem. And the bells of gold between them all around, a golden bell and a blank. A golden bell and a blank upon the hem of the robe all around. Pomegranate is correct. Good job.
Wait, it's pomegranates of blue, purple, and scarlet?
Yeah, the first one
I
didn't
think
make
it's the
sense.
cord.
I thought it was linens.
Pomegranate shouldn't be the first one.
That's a,
Yeah, shouldn't be
That-
linens.
wouldn't be Lynn. Lynn doesn't die. 28, 33, and 34. This one costs like they have to copy something down, huh?
It was yarn.
Yeah, it
Yarn?
says, on its hem you shall make pomegranates of blue and purple and scarlet yarns.
Right, okay, yeah.
Okay.
The word, if you look in the Hebrew, yarn isn't there, but it's really the only thing that could be dyed. So it'd
The
be,
way we read it, and that's not what it said.
Yeah.
We all thought it said something besides pomegranate. But those colors
We can
are
leave-
always in that order.
they're always in the same order, that's right. Blue, purple, scarlet, or Techelet, Argamon, and Tolat Shani. Question number 4. Fill in the blank. You are to summon your brother, Aharon and his sons, and come from all the people of Israel to serve you, and they can serve me as Kohanim. Aharon and his sons, Nadav, blank, Eleazar, and Ithamar. Avihu is correct. Good job. Question number 5. Which book of the Bible contains this passage? For rebellion is as a sin of divination, and insubordination is as iniquity and idolatry.
I'm gonna go with Samuel.
First Samuel is correct. Good job. Should be 15. All right. Question number 6. Fill in the blanks. They shall also make an ephod of gold of blank, blank, and blank material. And find listen twin. So you had it, the blue, purple, and scarlet material as it is. Italicized here because it's not in the text. But you can kind of see that it couldn't be linen. Well, a couple of reasons. Linen at the time was not able to be dyed. That's why you typically see linen as being a linen color, kind of off-white color. The only thing that available that could be dyed would be wool, and that would be the yarn that was made from that. You potentially could make a dye for leather, but that would be that would be easy they'd put that in there.
But they weren't supposed to wear linen and wool together.
Right, but this is not for individuals, right? What's the context of this passage?
The priest.
Set aside garment.
Yeah, it is something special that there's commanded to be made with these in it. And it doesn't really necessarily say how it was made and put together. This doesn't really give us the details of that. For normal, everyday people, you're not supposed to, shatnez is the term of mixing wool and linen together, not allowed to do that.
So the word material is not there, but the word and is there.
Is there, yeah. Question number 7. Name the holiday. Purim is correct. It's a grogger. Question number 8. Which of these looks most like the 14th and 15th day of a lunar month? Full moon is D.
I
That
can't
is correct.
see. I'm gonna C.
The
D.
15th of the month.
Oh,
Mid, yeah.
full.
Full
Okay,
moon.
sorry.
Question number 8. Pronounce this word, then translate it in English. Matzah. All right. Question number 10. Fill in the blank. And she went away and said to her mother, "What shall I ask him?" She said to her, "The blank of John the Immerser." The head, yeah. Yochanan the Immerser. Question number bonus. We've had a version of this same question before. See if anybody remembers who that is. Whose Medal of Honor citation reads, rank and organization, Captain, Company A, 30th Indiana Infantry, place and date, Atlanta, Georgia, August 3rd, 1864. Entered service, Fort Wayne, Allen County, Indiana. Birth, Ohio. Date of issue, May 22nd, 1893, so nearly 30 years later. Yeah. Citation, led a charge of skirmishers against the enemy's rifle pits and stubbornly and successfully resisted two determined attacks of the enemy to retake the works. Note, he was killed in the Philippines, 1899.
Lawton,
Lawton is correct. Good job.
because some of that is written at the stone at the front of the McMahon.
Excellently done. All right.
That's it. Now, what was his rank?
He was a colonel, I believe, in his actual rank was colonel. He was going. They were processing his promotion to brigadier general when he was killed. I think they posthumously promoted him to brigadier general. But he was shown here a uniform of a major general of volunteers, but that wasn't a permanent rank. He was a captain when he was awarded when he earned the Medal of Honor at the Battle of Atlanta. He was a captain. Right. We have a chance to enjoy some food, so if you join me for the blessing. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shechol niyeh bidvaro. Blessed are you, Adonai, our Elohim, King of the universe, who creates all things through his word. Amen. Right.
Shadows linger dark and long. Faces gone, but mind stays strong. Chains can't break the spirit's flight through this endless, restless night. Winds howl through the empty streets where silence and the sorrow meet. Echoes of their voices call, trembling walls that seem so tall. Bring the hostages home now, and this cruel unrest now. Bring the hostages home now, or bring them back somehow. Tides of freedom ebb and flow. Tired eyes still see the glow. Far from where wild winds roam, let their hearts return to home. Hands reach out.